It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Doom Nation, what is up? We are back again in the captain's quarters. As always, it's Skaggs and your captain. Thank you guys for joining us again. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So what are we talking about this week? It's wait, before we start, May the 4th be with you.
Yes, we will.
Star Wars Day.
Yes, unfortunately, we won't be talking about
No,
Star Wars now.
no.
We got more important stuff to talk about. We will be on 990 WBOB later
Yes.
to talk about Star Wars. We're gonna do a couple house cleaning items. I have really only one major point today, and then I'll bounce off of whatever you have. I want to talk about the CIA going woke. New recruitment video and campaign that the CIA has put out lately. That's going to be my main topic. What do you got?
I have Trump's new communication platform, and I have a little bit on Rudy Giuliani being raided by the FBI, and a little bit about South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
Yeah, that was
and the wild
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
ridiculousness that ensued from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
I kind of want to start because it's a quick one with Trump's platform.
Okay.
So you don't
Lay it
know
on me. I don't
anything
I don't
about
know
this.
anything. He was trying to tell me before we started the episode. I was like, no, stop. I want to hear it during the podcast.
So it was announced today that Trump's social media platform is coming out, and it's tomorrow. Facebook is deciding if they are going to continue to ban him. They're voting, or I don't know how it's
I did
going.
See that, yeah.
So tomorrow we're going to find out if Trump gets his Facebook page back or not.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, he's not getting it back. There's no way he's getting it back. So it's not necessarily a social media platform. It's a communication platform. It's called From the Desk of Donald J. Trump. You can find it on donaldjtrump.com/desk, I believe, or something like that. Yeah. It's probably one of the most absurd things I've seen Trump do, like bar none. It's not a social media platform at all. It's just a soapbox for him. I'm a Trump guy, and I'm even finding this to be crazy. So all it is basically you go there, you become a member, and he is just going to. It's basically if you remember MySpace back in the day. Imagine if the only person that could do anything was Tom, and then you could share what Tom was doing and saying. So Trump will post pictures and leave and make posts and post videos, and then you could share that on your social media, which also, spoiler alert, within 6 weeks, and I'm being optimistic with 6 weeks, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is going to ban everything that you share from the desk of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So it's literally just him being able to tweet again to just the people who want to hear his tweets. There's I can't leave a comment. We can't comment each other. I don't think you have a profile. So it's a communication platform. He is now communicating. This is how he's going to communicate with his base.
This is the problem with Trump, right? He's a self-absorbed, I'm the best,
Right.
look at me, moron, right? Who, if I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
No,
I was
how can you
hoping-
be surprised?
I was hoping that he would create a alternative to the Facebook, Twitter, etc.,
Right.
which have taken on this we're going to censor everything. And I was hoping he was going to use his money to create the alternative where all ideas were welcome, even liberal
Yeah.
crazy ones. But he didn't do that. He made a Look at me.
Yeah,
Look
he
at
made
me.
he
Look at
made
me.
a digital soapbox for himself.
Right. That
So-
is a perfect way to put it.
So now it's still early on. We don't know how this platform could evolve. It could eventually evolve into an actual social media platform where we could be social again and not be silenced. But for right now, it's just his soapbox. It's insane. I think it's one of the dumber things. I get why he's doing it. I get why people want it. I was always kind of, from the establishment's point of view, to censor Trump and silence him on Twitter, from a strategic standpoint, I kind of think that was a bad idea. Because, he
Yes.
was annoying, but, like, obviously Trump is the enemy of the establishment and Trump's enemy is the establishment. So whichever side you're on, that doesn't matter to me. But you silenced your enemy, and now you don't know what he's been doing. You don't know. At least if he was able to say stupid things, CNN would have more stories to talk about. They wouldn't have to focus on certain things that Biden did. We would know what Trump is thinking. So, but now since you silenced him, you didn't destroy the dragon. You kind of just hit him, and now you don't know when he's going to pop up again.
That's the problem with censorship in anything.
Yeah.
Right? But I've been saying that forever. I don't agree with most of the shit Trump says, but now I can't see what he's thinking.
Yeah.
With him gone off of Twitter, there could have been a tweet Joe Biden put out, and then Donald Trump himself could have responded directly to that tweet for the next 4 years, and you could see, well, what is Trump thinking about these policies and these things? But now that's completely hidden. So you're not going to. Now you're misinformed. This really annoys me, and this is another problem with Trump. He did something selfish rather than do something for everybody.
I think it was more selfish too.
So he's he's going to cry that he's been censored and people are unfair to conservatives. But then someone who has the ability to make an actual social media platform goes and does it, but only for himself.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
for everybody else. That's Trump. That is my beef with Trump. As he's like I've told you before, he sells himself as the hero, but he's really just a different bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's a remember we were talking about the swamp. I was like, he's just gonna put his own swamp monsters in. This is more, in my opinion, this is more confirmation of he's not the right person.
Yeah,
He's an
it's
idiot.
the problem is I was listening to the Timcast, and they were like, someone needs to like stand up against like all this like tyranny and insanity, and somebody was like, well, that's Donald Trump, and like the guy was like, yeah, it is, but they're like, it sucks that it's him, like, you know what I mean, like it's the wrong personality to be put in the place for the guy that stands up to all this. And I don't
He's only standing up to it against himself. He's not all his base that's been kicked off Twitter or whatever, all the conservatives, all the MAGA people. He didn't. This thing as of right now is not for them. It's just for him only.
It's really for the MAGA people to just so they could read his tweets again.
And it's more of this dangerous cult of personality shit, which is exactly what's going on with AOC and all these other people. It's your MAGA people who love Trump, who think he's Savior Jesus Christ. This is only going to make that worse.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not as upset as you are, because I feel that I mean, I guess tomorrow or today is just day one of this platform, and it can evolve.
Yeah, that is true.
But
That's true.
For right now, I was just like, what's the point? It's literally if Tom had MySpace again, and we could only see Tom's page. Like, so I think it's
I'm
a
not
waste.
gonna use it, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I
got
really
enough.
don't think there's going to be. We're not going to be able to promote ourselves on it. You know,
what's the point?
And most of we look at who we follow on our Instagram account and the people who follow us. All those people are going to be sharing it, because as of right now, you can share to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever he says on this. But like I said, within a matter of weeks, they're going to squash that.
That is kind of funny, because it's almost like he's trolling them. Like, he's not doing it, but he's writing it, and other people are doing it.
Which I kind of found funny, because like I said to myself right away, I was like, oh boy, Twitter's not going to allow this for too long. You know what I mean? So, and it's kind of like what Project Veritas was saying. Like, we have to start sharing this by proxy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I understand the concept. I think it's a good concept.
Yeah, it's just that Project Veritas didn't make a one-way communication platform, you know. But so that's his new platform. It's from the desk of Donald J. Trump, and let's see where it goes. I'm sure if anybody follows anything political on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, you'll start seeing the shares from his page momentarily, probably right now, to be honest with you.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Not what I thought it would be, and disappointed.
No, yeah,
Not
I
surprised.
was thinking it was like he said it was like a revolutionary social. I mean,
not.
that's why.
It's almost like a prop from the propaganda desk.
Yeah,
of Donald J.
like-
Trump. Give me a fucking break.
I don't know.
All right.
But he is calling it a communication platform, so it's not social. So I get that, but I mean, tit for tat.
It's not social. Okay,
No.
well, yeah, you're right. He's branding it as a communication desk because it's not social.
Yeah, it's not. It's just him talking.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
At least he's not false branding it
Yeah.
or something.
So
All right, so that's interesting. We'll go on to my next point, which is something that I saw through social media, and just like I was mentioning at the beginning, the CIA has gone woke.
the CIA has lost their mind.
The CIA has a new recruitment campaign to get new people to work for the CIA. I guess new agents, and they put out these videos on their official Twitter. And the first one I got here is this woman. She's Latina, and she's walking around the CIA headquarters talking about how proud she is to be a Latina. And in quotes on the tweet, it goes, "I'm unapologetically me. I want you to be unapologetically you, whoever you are, whether you work at the CIA or anywhere else in the world. Command your space, mija. You are worth it." This is funny because what she's saying there is not what the CIA stands for. Right? You mean to tell me the CIA is accepting of everyone in the world, no matter what they are, who they are, what they do? Yeah. The same government entity which overthrows or spent decades, trying to undermine left-wing communist, forces in other countries, that was very accepting of them.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Very. Anyone.
So should MAGA people who want to be part of the CIA, are they going to be
No.
accepted?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Right.
So they're already wrong.
Great point. This is the woke stuff, right? This is the problem with the woke stuff. I don't have any problem, obviously, with Latina women. I married one, right? I love Latina women. They're awesome. But they're co-opting this stuff for the wrong reasons. Let me give you a tweet here from. Actually, let me read.
Do you
another.
have any of the blowback that this has got
Yeah,
too?
this is what I'm going into now. Another actual quotes from more of the new recruitment videos. "I'm a woman of color. I am a cisgender millennial. I have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional." So these are the things that the people working in the CIA are saying. They're promoting themselves as this very diverse, very inclusive organization. Glenn Greenwald, my favorite reporter in the world, the best reporter in the world, he goes, "What this also shows is this type of politics, fixated on cultural identity, poses no threat whatsoever to institutions of authority. To the contrary, they love it. It's easily co-opted, and the liberal obsession with this stuff means that they're not focused on how power is wielded."
Yeah. Yeah. Because this is. So we saw it and we spoke about it when Gay Pride Month comes around. Coca-Cola changes its Twitter, or its Instagram profile picture to a rainbow flag. And that's fine. That's cool. And now here you go. The CIA. They're just checking off their microaggression boxes by saying, we accept everyone. And cool. Like, where nobody's going to question them now. I could guarantee you, though, that a cisgender millennial, the second they see, like, the dirty side of the CIA, they're like, this isn't what I signed up for. You know what I mean?
Don't be
Like,
too far gone. A cisgender millennial or someone who's like so. There's nothing wrong with cisgender millennials.
no,
right?
I'm not saying there's. I'm just saying somebody with, like, that left-wing mindset.
Right, with the woke mindset.
Yeah, like the woke progressive
Virtue
mindset.
signaling mindset.
Yeah, so you're probably anti 2A. So what happens when they issue you your sidearm, or what happens when they send you?
Oh, but that's
to...
okay because I'll have it then, and
Yeah.
I'm the authority.
So it was funny because when I listened to the Timcast episode the other day, they were like, the problem with like police or the problem with
this.
like the feds or whatever, they might be like, I stand up for the Constitution. But then when their boss who signs their paychecks, like, hey, go arrest that guy and beat the crap out of him. No problem, boss. And they go
Right.
whoop his ass.
Right,
You know?
or go confiscate that person's gun because we passed an unconstitutional, gun
Yeah,
law.
law.
Okay, boss,
Yeah.
I'll go and do it. That is a big
Yep,
criticism.
just sign my paycheck.
People should have of police. Tim Pool himself was a little bit way too critical of police. I think he's looking at things very, I listened to that whole episode, and not to go too much into it,
Yeah.
but you have to they're still people. Police officers, right? And it's not as black and white.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just.
as everyone wants to make everything out to be. It's not as black and white.
At the same time, they can't lose their paycheck, too.
So back to the CIA. Obviously, there's no problem with women of color. There's no problem with cisgender millennials. There's no problem with people diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. They're using these things to virtue signal to other woke people, showing them, wow, look how virtuous the CIA is. They're great. I should work there. And they're not looking into the terrible stuff the
Right.
CIA does. I got to make my next Twitter point from my good friend Dave Smith, who we've been talking about lately. And Dave Smith tweeted, I think the argument is that it is a cynical ploy that does entrench the CIA's power by buying off what would be left-wing opposition and distracting the country with a culture war that pits different powerless people or different powerless groups against each other than against them. So it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I get that. I get exactly what he's thinking about.
Right. Historically, the left has been very critical of the establishment, the CIA, the military-industrial complex now. So these places are not dumb. They figured out we got to win the left to our point of view, because that means we could continue doing what we're doing, continue these shady black op things and etc.
Yep.
So this is why they're doing this stuff. The CIA does not care about cisgender, millennials, people of color,
Yeah.
etc.
Biden bombs Syria. They love it. Trump bombs Syria. We're going to World War III. He's a racist, dictator.
Yep. One more tweet. I just saw this when we started the podcast before. The top tweet underneath the original video. This guy on Twitter, Redacted Tonight, is replying to it. He goes, the CIA armed and trained death squads in Guatemala who massacred hundreds of thousands of civilians with a focus on the indigenous. The Wednesday wisdom here is that the U.S. imperialism is maintained through mass murder and intensive propaganda campaigns.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what
just
this
propaganda
This is
to the
what
left.
this is. So let me give you my full, I wrote out a well-thought-out thing here, and then that'll be my last point. The CIA is nefariously using this woke ideology to appeal to a new generation of agents, right? Those new agents, although they'll be woke, they'll be continuing business as usual. They'll be continuing these disastrous foreign policies of destabilization, like we and you talked about in episode 58, Common Sense. The reason why there's such an immigration crisis is because of U.S. foreign policy destabilizing those countries.
Right.
Who's the tip of the spear of those
CIA.
foreign policies? The CIA. They're arming rebels, creating strife within the governments, leading to bad conditions in these countries. And this woke stuff, it's the perfect cover for these institutions to win over the gullible left, just like Dave Smith was saying, because they're using this woke anti-racist sentiment. Meanwhile, they'll continue to do things that harm the poor and brown people in the other countries around the world. They'll compromise our own security in the meantime because of the immigration thing. See the border crisis. And another interesting point on this is kind of related, but not 100% related. I shared on Instagram today. Vice President Harris was speaking about the border crisis, and she tried to blame it on climate change. Not on the CIA destabilizing the regions, not on the economics, not on the war on drugs, fucking climate change.
Not on the fact that Joe Biden's a nice guy.
I think climate change is real. But do you mean to tell me that climate change only happens in South America, but not in America?
Yeah.
So people are running away from South America to get rid of climate change to face climate change in North America.
To pay more taxes in North America because we have to control climate change through our taxes,
Right.
but not in Guatemala and South America.
And see, this is just woke shit, right? They use woke shit to cover up what they're doing and the real reason behind things. And that's a shame that they're gonna use climate change as like a woke thing, because that's actually something I believe is happening. We could debate what the causes are. We can debate if we can do anything about it. We can debate how we fix it. Right, but I agree that there is something happening, but they're using it nefariously.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you climate change was probably caused by the government because the government's saying they're the solution.
That's true. That's a good point. We've said that many times on a lot of different topics. My final line, I want to say to all my liberal friends out there, to all my leftist friends out there who want to defund the police, abolish the police, no, we should really be abolishing the CIA, defunding the CIA. We don't need them. Okay, we don't need that. Everything they stand for is antithetical to America, equality, justice, fairness, everything America stands for. So abolish the CIA.
The CIA has long been out of control, uncontrollable. I I don't even want to say Trump did. I mean, I have no clue. But I want to say up to before Trump, there's truly no control the president has over the CIA. They are their own operating entity in the world. They literally control the deck of cards.
Yeah.
It's so deep and nefarious. I mean, JFK got killed because of it. JFK's goal was to shatter the CIA into millions of pieces and watch it blow away into the wind.
Right, in the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, and they're a dangerous group. They're definitely the reason behind a lot of the crap what we see. It's all manipulation, and it starts and ends with them.
You see, you make a good point, right? It's so deep. So even while I'm here saying abolish the CIA, say, perfect scenario, Dave Smith becomes president. He goes in there with that hard libertarian mentality of, I'm going to get rid of all these government agencies, right? And he signs something, because he's the executive, abolishing the CIA. Would that actually abolish the CIA?
No.
They might tear down the building and fire all the employees, but these guys might be so deep and so connected with so much money that maybe the president doesn't even know about, have control over.
Yeah,
they could be like, ha ha ha, Dave Smith, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see you in 4 years.
They have the CIA has locations all over the world, in place, underground, probably in space, the moon for all we friggin' know. You know what I mean? Like, there's the crazy thing about the CIA is there's truly no bounds that like the CIA could probably. It would be nothing for the CIA to become part of NASA and be like, okay, now we're in space, and there'd be nothing for the CIA to hire some construction crew and build there is underground tunnels all throughout America.
Right.
You know what I mean? It'd be nothing to have an underground military base that the CIA runs.
All right, even if they're abolished, right?
Yeah.
They'll still be there. You didn't know about them being there.
I mean, even if they abolished the CIA, they'd be like, cool, we're not even the CIA. We ditched that name years ago. We're the FUA. You know what I mean? Like,
you see, that's the libertarian argument against all these government agencies, is that who elects them?
Yeah.
Who puts them in? Is that part of what our,
what our founding fathers wanted.
Was supposed to be about?
Yeah.
Right, like the creed
Espionage.
of our nation was not supposed to be about having CIA, FBI, ATF, DHS, blah, 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 and even if...
The alphabet soup.
Right, and even if our democracy elected a person who ran on getting rid of those things, that person couldn't even get rid of them because of how deeply entrenched they are. What? You know what I mean?
Like I said,
what are we talking about here? You got to think about that.
They are one out of control. They're out of reach, and they're not even controllable at this point.
Out of reach is an perfect way to put it. We got to see. We got to actually get the guy in that wants to get rid of him, and then let's see how. You're right. I feel like yes, it could definitely be out of reach, even if they were abolished on paper.
Because I mean, we'll bring it into like aliens and Area 51 and all that stuff. Like, it's been documented. Like, not every president gets like access to like these. Like, I know like Bill Clinton was hard. Like, I want to know. Like, and they're like, no, you're gonna get out of here, Bill. There's some 13-year-old girl in your limo waiting for you.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And he didn't get access to it. Did Trump get it? I don't know. Maybe. You know what I mean? But like some presidents had more over others, and the CIA picks and chooses who they let into it. Like, it's been out of control since probably like Nixon. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy because our tax money funds these things, and we have no say in it. We didn't elect them, like I said before. Even if we elected someone to get rid of them, they probably wouldn't be able to get rid of them. Yet our tax money would still. It's just an absolutely crazy thing.
What's to say that when we sign some stimulus bill, or when the president signs something, and we send money overseas to education facilities in Iran, right? We send $1 billion to education facilities in Iran. There's nothing saying that this is Iran of, some desert area of Iran. It's just Iran education facilities. The CIA could just go make Iranian education facilities.
Right.
And it might be a school. It might educate people. But all that money comes in, just gets funneled right back into the... You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be so deep that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The CIA building, is probably the least CIA place there is.
Right. That's a good point. You could also think of it as, we're talking about here like our taxpayer money funding these things, which you don't really want. these things have been already so well established and so well funded. Think of them as corporations.
Yeah.
Even if you cut all of their taxpayer funding magically, they probably have a revenue stream on the side from the war on this, the war on that, the war
Yeah,
on
but-
drugs,
yeah.
illegal arms sales. You know what I mean? Like, think of them as a corporation that even if the president cut them off, made them illegal, gave them no government funding anymore, they probably have a separate source
Yeah.
of funding within their own,
Yeah,
dark
well, just-
ties that could keep them going even if they were outlawed
yeah.
or something.
But just think of it too, like, okay, you're gonna defund us. We'll just destabilize some country and we'll take all their money.
Right, that too, because they've been so well established already. They're so ingrained. I mean, this would be, if I could ever have a conversation with Dave Smith, it would be about this. Be like, I understand and I agree with you. You want to get rid of it, but
How?
how?
Yeah.
And once you sign the paper saying it's gone, how do we actually root out how ingrained that is into like the fabric of the earth at this point?
Yeah, and also you got to think like, all right, let's cut the nefarious reasons of the CIA and stuff like that. There's field operatives out there. There's spies. There's real people in real situations as we speak, deploying whatever mission it is, whether it's nefarious or not. So you mean to tell me the CIA agent that is in the president of China's house right now, like when they get defunded, like what do we do about him? You know what I mean? What do we do about the guy that's in Putin's office? What do we do about...
Recall him and give up the fact that he was there, they'd kill him immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
So we would, to a certain extent, if we were really going to have to do it, it would have to be, I think it would have to be bloody and dirty. We like, sorry, pal, you're on, like,
Well,
you're burned.
No, because I guess, yeah.
But you
I get
wouldn't
your
just be
point.
able to take
Pull 'em out.
the group of people that are in Putin's office right now that are CIA, whether they're deep undercover or if the CIA is just working with Russia or not, to just pull them out.
You'd have to tell them,
It would probably start a war.
right? Yeah. That's a good point. Or you'd have to tell them, just keep doing what you're doing, and there's no point to what you're doing. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, that person's now pretending to work for that person's like lost. But at the same time, I don't really care.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
But yeah, it's messy. It's
Yeah,
messy,
it's-
and there's no. I don't know. I don't have an answer. But like I said, we're just two idiots. I don't know.
And I could only think of how bad it was for when JFK wanted to get rid of for JFK back then to want to get rid of the CIA.
Oh yeah,
like-
they weren't as powerful as they are now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, sorry to sell them down the river, but like, let's be real. Obama probably gave them, the green light for whatever they wanted to do. Bush too, fucking with, weapons of mass destruction. That was a whole CIA ploy just to get in
Right, that
there
was
and
all
find
fake.
Saddam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? So, oh God, it would be
That's
so messy.
That's the
like,
biggest disappointment about Obama. Why I voted for Obama, because his whole like thing of change, like we're gonna change things, the way things are, and I took that as like, look, we're gonna fix all this crap,
Yeah.
like the CIA, all this stuff that America does wrong, and this guy's coming up, he's new, and he's got the right mentality of fixing all these things, and
Yep,
cherry on
Manchurian
top,
candidate.
and on cherry on top, he's a black guy, proving like, wow, monumental moment. America has a black president finally, and I was proud to vote for that guy. And he ended up basically becoming the thing that, he said he was going to not be.
he was the worst version of it. I still love every time Joe Biden got on the campaign trail and said we were going to end this. Why
did you start it then?
Why didn't you do it with Obama?
Right.
Like, if this was so important, you mean to tell me? And the best was Obama would back Joe Biden and be like, yeah, I support it. Like, and it took a while for him to support Joe
did,
Biden too,
yeah.
which was funny. But like, Joe Biden gets out there and says, we're going to do A, B, and C. And Obama's like, yeah, we'll do A, B, and C. Well, why didn't you do A, B, and C?
You just made me think about Obama, and he waited very long to.
It was suspicious.
Right, but he did the same thing in 2016, also with Bernie and Hillary. He didn't right away endorse either one. You know why? Because
His word holds weight.
Yes, and I think he's very, very, very ego driven, and he does not want to align himself with the loser.
Right.
Right, so he makes sure he waits till the end when it gets close, and he knows almost who's going to win, and then he throws his weight behind
Yeah.
that person. So he's always going to be, because he's very ego driven,
Playing both sides of the fence.
He's going to make sure he was on the right side of history. I endorse the winners,
Yeah.
and I have something to do with it. Just like Trump will, be the exact same way. Trump, when we had Nick on here, he's going to say Trump wants to play Kingmaker,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, he probably will play Kingmaker, but guarantee he's going to wait to see who's probably going to win first.
I don't know. Trump usually endorses somebody when they ask him to, where Obama kind of waits, but there's really not too big of a difference in like the Kingmaker way that they're talking
it's
about.
just ego-driven stuff. You
Yeah.
know, when you're that
I'll tell you
popular.
though, like Trump's a better Kingmaker than Obama, because his I think Trump's,
Maybe he
sponsoring, however you want, endorsing. I think it now holds more than like what Obama would say.
the MAGA crowd is maybe more
Energized,
loyal
yeah.
to Donald than there is no there's
You
Obama
know what it
people,
is
but
too.
there's no-
Obama's not in the limelight. Obama's not in center stage. I think if Obama took a bigger act, unfortunately, like Trump, where he was in the public eye more, if Obama could go nuts on Twitter, you know what I mean, and nobody's ever going to stop him. I think that's where his missed opportunity is to play Kingmaker. That he's not as social as Trump would want to be.
Yeah. At the same
Yeah.
time, like if Obama,
Thank God.
if Obama went nuts on Twitter, I know that some, staff is writing those tweets for
Yeah.
him. There's not that. As much as I disagree with Trump and thought he was an idiot, etc., at least it was an authenticity of this guy was writing his own tweets.
Right.
Kovif, spelling things wrong, bad punctuation. I knew it was him because
Yeah.
of all those mistakes. Like a buttoned-up staff is going to make sure every single thing is spelled exactly right and is very well thought
They
out.
did a
There's
study of who it's gonna
commas,
offend,
and
yeah.
they use they, their, that, whatever. I don't even know how to use those words correctly. I ask my wife
Yeah.
most of the time just to check when we put out a tweet. But that's because it's coming from us, though.
Yeah, idiots.
Right, exactly. So, yep, CIA, etc.
Interesting place.
So-
Yep.
Go on.
So,
your next points.
Yeah. So, what do you want to do? Should we talk about the FBI or should we talk
You tell me,
about?
buddy. There was a shooting at the FBI, or not the
Really?
There was actually no, it wasn't at the. There was a shooting actually. Why didn't I even bring this up at the CIA headquarters a couple days ago. Some guy with a gun there, and somehow the FBI was there, and they shot and killed the guy. Very weird.
Yeah.
Not many details, obviously.
Well, it surrounds the CIA.
it's
Why would
around their-
they?
It's on their property, very buttoned up.
You know,
I
there-
didn't look into it either, but
There's always been rumors that kind of Q stuff, but this also goes back before Q was even a thing. That a lot of for mainstream media propaganda, a lot of conspiracy theorists will say that like a lot of the people you see on the news and in the mainstream media are CIA operatives to push like the propaganda.
yeah,
Like it would make perfect sense for like the CIA
they're not
to.
even hiding it. John
Yeah.
Brennan isn't John Brennan? Who's
Oh yeah, what is it? Where is he
He's-
now?
He's with CNN. Hold on, because we're going to confirm this ourselves. John O. Brennan is the former director of the Central Intelligence Agency. He is a now paid contributor for CNN. Are you?
You don't think he's the first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
He probably still works for the CIA.
Yeah. That's the other thing. There's so many stories. When
This is the guy that pushing the domestic terrorist narrative.
when
Come on.
when they were talking about Russia with Trump, and some people got fired or whatever from the FBI or the CIA, like they just still kept working. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, you're fired from the
Right.
CIA on paper. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, let's talk about the FBI then. So we're a little bit late on this, but it was crazy interesting news, and it's still going on a little bit. What was it, last
Rudy?
week? Yeah,
I think it
end
was
of
last
last week. Yeah, well, it's only
Last-
Tuesday,
It was
so
last week, definitely.
yeah. So last week, the feds raided Rudy Giuliani's apartment at 6 a.m., and they had a warrant, and they took all of his electronic devices, all of them except for Hunter Biden's laptop, of course. They were saying that he was found colluding with Ukraine, I believe. Did you read into any of this?
A little bit. Right. It has something to do with Ukraine.
I don't.
It's not that he was.
I don't know the exact terminology. That's the problem. I want to
He was
say
investigating the Ukraine
right.
stuff.
Right, but I think it was something to do with foreign affairs in Ukraine.
With the energy.
Yeah, I don't think it was with that. I think it was with like Trump's campaigning or something like that. Yeah, let's
Look
bring
up.
this up.
Make your points.
So
I'll in the
anyway,
background,
so-
I'll, look it up.
So right off the bat, Joe Biden was like, "You have my word. I didn't know anything about this." I actually believe Joe Biden on this point because I'm pretty sure Joe Biden doesn't know what day it is. So why would he know what the FBI is doing? But this is scary. This is whether you think Rudy Giuliani is a criminal or not, whether you don't like him because he's a Trump guy or not, whether you didn't vote for him when he was, a politician or not. The guy is a lawyer. The guy was, what was he, the mayor of New York?
Yes.
All right, he's an ex-mayor. He's a lawyer. He was part of the ex-president's legal team. Usually when there's a warrant out for people like this, you get a little bit of a heads up and you tell them like, all right, we're coming, turn this stuff over. You don't show up in force and surprise attack somebody of this stature. You know what I'm saying?
I see your point. But at
In
the same time,
the inner circles
here.
No, I'm not saying that. Let me make my point on that. I get what you're saying. Like, he doesn't deserve any, and that's fine.
No one does.
That's fine. He doesn't deserve. But in the inner circle of it, when you do this to a lawyer or somebody, there's usually some white collar nonsense. There's usually some type of heads up. This is scary. People really need to wake up to this because it's not enough that Trump's out of office. It's not enough that there's questions on whether this election was rigged or not. It's not enough that social media in Silicon Valley could censor anybody they want because you speak, against the agenda. Now we're going after Trump's guys. Mm-hmm. This is straight like Nazis. You know what I mean? It's payback time.
Yeah, it's going after your political opponent.
Yeah,
once
this is straight political warfare to crush the opposition to never rise. They're salting the earth,
right?
And I don't think this is going to be the last Trump person that we see have this done to. No. And no one's going to care because it's so. Like I said in a previous episode, there's still so much hatred for Trump right now that like. Anytime, you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to blow that up and, direct that story negatively and stuff. And a lot of media outlets had to retract their stories on this because they ran out right away saying like, oh, he's guilty of this, blah, blah, blah. But like, he's still a lawyer. So like, you can't defame him without him striking back
when
either.
I was looking for what happened. I did see those were some of the stories were about how the stories were wrong.
Yeah.
But, just to give some color here of exactly what happened. They raided this is from the New York Times. Federal investigators on Wednesday seized cell phones and computers from Rudy. And it says they're stepping up a criminal investigation into Giuliani's dealings in Ukraine. 3 people with knowledge of the investigation.
So it still doesn't even say
such unreliable news. 3 people with knowledge of the investigation said so.
It must be. What is this? It must be the same people that Project Veritas sued, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, that piece was opinion. We didn't do any research." It must be the same 3 people who did no research.
It would take time for me to figure it out now in the middle episode exactly what happened here. I did listen to Tim, we're recanting with Tim.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately.
But it has to do, apparently, with Rudy looking into the Burisma, Hunter Biden energy stuff.
Corruption.
Right, the corruption there. And I think that's basically what it is because like he was looking into that stuff. Now they're going after him for looking into that stuff.
But I mean,
which there was corruption there. And then Tim Pool was making the point of, well, the Burisma stuff is really America is trying to make sure that we have a guy on the board of an energy company in Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine's a very important ally because it opposes Russia. We're trying to get Ukraine in NATO. And one of the reasons why we're trying to get Ukraine in NATO and have like a guy on the in with their energy thing is because of the pipeline.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to make sure that Europe has energy independence from Russia. Because Europe is another major ally of the United States.
We can't have pipelines.
And here's where my point is going to be. This has to do big with the Bidens and the administration is trying to support this pipeline going from Ukraine into Europe because of the energy situation, like I said before. And that's funny, right? Because I thought these were the climate change people, right? And pipelines are bad. Get rid of them. Executive action. No DAPL or Keystone XL, whatever it is, right? Because we got to stop pipelines because they contribute to fossil fuels and pollute the atmosphere and cause climate change. Only in America, though. But when it's in Ukraine, no, we got to make sure that that pipeline gets built because of energy
Yes.
independence and the Russians and blah, 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 blah.
When people listening, sit back, ask yourself, when do we start to wake up to this nonsense? You know what I mean? Obviously, you have to do some deep research to get to what you're saying, but it's not wrong. We want pipelines in the Ukraine, but we don't want them here.
Yeah, when I heard this whole thing about Hunter Biden and the pipeline and everything, oh, I kind of agree with that. You know, I get it. They're trying to. I don't like interventionalism and meddling and etc. But I get it. They're trying to protect America by protecting Europe, right? Who are our allies? They're trying to protect Ukraine, right? Because
To make
by
them
doing
energy
that,
independent,
By doing that, they're protecting Europe, which protects America, etc. Okay, Joe Biden. Well, why didn't you sell it to me that way to begin with? Maybe I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
But it's hypocritical to cancel the Keystone XL because of climate change, but push another pipeline in Ukraine because of energy independence for Europe.
Yeah.
When they said they canceled the Keystone XL, me and you were like, wow, isn't it crazy how the president has that much power over something, and all of a sudden now, because Biden's president, the gas prices have gone up?
Yeah.
And you said, well, yeah, bro, energy independence.
Yeah.
I remember you clearly said that.
That's how we become energy
Right.
independent,
So
by
they're-
making other
they're-
people independent.
They're supporting energy independence over there, but not over here.
Yeah. We talk about climate change. We were just, everybody's migrating here because of climate change, but we still have to pay taxes in the Green New Deal because, climate change down there.
And it's not that those places are not on the earth where
Yeah.
climate
Yeah,
exists,
where the climate
right?
changes.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happened? I lost. There we go.
You got yourself?
Yeah,
Good.
I lost. Climate exists on the earth, right? So we're all on the earth.
Yeah.
And there's still going to be climate over here and over there. And
No, there's no climate down there, just
Okay.
over here. Yeah.
No, there's no climate up here. There's climate down there.
Then why do we pay taxes for climate up here?
Because we have to fix the climate happening down
Right,
there,
right,
and
right.
they're all running up here where there's no climate affecting anything, so it's
Real.
safer.
Believe the science, people.
Right, trust the science.
But the real scary part of this is this dictator-like, totalitarian, authoritarian, whatever, action of going after the ex-president's lawyer. It's cleanup time. It's payback time. And that should scare everyone, because someone who is as white-collar or as notarized as Rudy Giuliani is, whether you agree with him or not, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that we've always tried to show people, and a lot of people don't understand. Trump got banned from Twitter. Yay, that is something easy to cheer about. Rudy Giuliani got raided by the FBI. Yay, that's something easy to cheer about, especially when you don't like that side of politics. It's only a matter of time until someone that you agree with gets censored. It's only a matter of time till someone you agree with gets raided like that.
yeah, so let me make a hypothetical scenario here. Do you remember the famous "lock her up" chant? Lock her
Yeah.
up. Donald J. Trump, started to lock her up, talking about Hillary
How
Clinton.
can I forget? I was going to get it tattooed
Right.
on my forehead.
Right, so you wanted that to happen, right? Donald Trump became the president. He didn't lock her up. He didn't instruct anybody to go and persecute his political opposition as much as everybody thought he was the dictator. And here I am again defending this asshole, right? But he did. Now Joe Biden comes and he seems to have done that or begun.
Or,
process
well, the
of that,
FBI
right?
underneath
Right?
him did it. Yeah.
So, basically the lock him up chants for now are happening in terms of Joe Biden, right? So here's the problem. Joe Biden sets that precedent. Now Donald Trump runs for president again. Next time, maybe he wins, and he comes back with a fucking axe to grind, right? And he comes back now, and he goes after everybody, right? He completely misuses his executive power to
Becomes a
punish-
dictator.
right?
Yeah.
And is that really his fault? Who set the precedent for
Yeah.
that? The Democrats
Yeah.
did. I don't want Donald Trump to do that. I don't want either side to do that. But you can't, when you're in power, set a precedent and misuse your power because you think you're right and the other person's wrong. Because then when you eventually are not, that person's going to do the same thing to you or worse.
Right.
Right. We're setting the maybe there'll be an actual Hitler come to power in the future, and good thing Grandpa Joe set the president for Hitler to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
When he becomes president.
The downfall right now of the Democratic Party is they truthfully, a politician's never going to admit a loss, and a politician's never going to admit that he's down in polls. A politician's job really is to never admit that anything's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna see that how can I put this? The left truly thinks right now that like they are going to be in power
Forever.
for the rest of time, and it's kind of
Well, that's
scary.
the goal too.
Yeah, that's the goal. They are going to set it up where anybody who's in the police, anybody who's in the military who is not loyal,
Yeah.
gone.
Loyalty
Yeah.
to the party, like
You know what I-
Kim Jong-un style.
Yeah, basically, we are setting it up for a new Hitler to come in, and it wasn't Donald Trump. So you know what I mean? We're setting it up. They really think that. Even Joe Biden said it in a question. Oh, do you think Trump's going to run again in 2024? And his response was, he should have just left it. I don't know. I don't have time to worry about that. Then he finished it up with saying, I don't know if there's even going to be a Republican Party by then. Who says this stuff?
Right.
Who says that?
Yeah. The unity guy. The unity guy said that.
Yeah, yeah. The most moderate president ever. So everybody, the moral of the story is, you have to pay attention to stuff like this. It's only a matter of time until someone you agree with gets got, and then you're not going to be cheering anymore. Then you're going to be like, "Holy shit, those two idiots were right."
Right. Well, you'll be in the gulag with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, hey, and you'll be like, you guys were right.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, we tried
We-
to stop it, tried to bring it to people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, we've been keeping receipts, people. We've proven this before, time and time again, and we will tell you, I told you so, from the gulag if we have to. As we're on the firing squad, I told you guys so.
You're right.
So to talk about more left-wing hypocrisy,
Okay, Tim Scott, got to get to Tim Scott.
This
before we have to
was-
wrap up here.
this was, I've never, I don't know, I don't want to go too broad with how
Can
insane I
let me
am,
set
but
up the stage and then you
yeah,
get into it.
go for it.
So the other day, last week, President Biden gave his first address to Congress, and as always with every address to Congress, the opposing party, so like Biden's the Democrat, the Republican will give a response immediately after those speeches.
A rebuttal.
It's a rebuttal, right? And that happens after every single one. Tim Scott, the only black Republican congressman or senator?
Senator.
Was the guy who gave the response. And I thought it was a great fucking response, right?
It was-
Go ahead. Let's get into it now.
Yeah, so he talked about how America's not racist, and he talked about how he has dealt with these racist actions, but he was still given the opportunity as a black man to rise up far enough in the South to become a senator and to achieve everything he's achieved before.
He mentioned how he put forward police reform bills.
Yep, that
the
was shot down.
Democrats refused to filibustered and refused
Yep.
to work with him on.
And he had a great statement on that. He goes, the Democrats and the left, they want the issue more than they want the
Yes.
solution.
Right.
And Twitter and the internet exploded
Yeah.
on. So for a country that is so racist with white supremacy everywhere we go, the domestic terrorists and the MAGA nation and the white supremacists are America's biggest issue right now. We're going to have a war on domestic terrorists. All these woke, left-wing, anti-racist people attacked a black man for being anti-racist by being racist.
Yeah.
They were calling him an N-word. They were calling him an Uncle Tom. For 12 hours, Uncle Tim
Yes.
trended on Twitter.
Now, let's stop there. On so many levels, that proves the hypocrisy of people, of Twitter, of everything, right? Because Twitter has complete control of their platform. They could pull that.
Yeah.
They could delete that from the trending boards, but they didn't. They allowed it to go on for 12 hours. I don't even know if they did pull it or not, or for just...
They did after 12
Did
hours.
they? Where were they for 12 hours
Yeah.
when that was going on?
Yeah.
You know? And yes, I saw the tweets. I saw the N-word being used. I saw people calling him an Uncle Tom, which is a derogatory term towards black men. You know, saying that
That he's submissive
everybody
to white
knows it.
people.
Everybody's heard it before.
Yeah.
That was okay, though. That was okay. Why? Because this black man doesn't agree with your agenda, with your ideology. So this is the problem with woke shit. This is the problem with Antifa, right?
While
If
you say that, I'm going to pull up my article.
If you don't agree with them, they will use the things that they accuse you of being against you. Antifa, the anti-fascists. If you don't agree with them, they'll use fascist, ways to get back at you. The woke people, if you don't agree with their woke ideology, which, to be real, is very cultish, almost religious at this point, they'll just call you racist names, and you know, they'll start a racist trending hashtag on Twitter.
Yep.
The most anti-racist people. You know, was that everybody? No. But the people who are the most vocal about this stuff on Twitter, where, you know, I'm in there, I'm in the Twitter wars all the time. These are the people that are most vocal about woke stuff, about anti-racist stuff, about equality, diversity, acceptance. They're the ones spearheading the racism.
They instantly become racist.
Yeah.
They attacked a black man for being anti-racist by being racist. This was an article from Fox News, and this was put great, some of these lines. This is the same left that is quick to label as racist anyone who doesn't subscribe to its agenda. Yet here it is, actually using racist language against a black man because he dares to disagree. Joey Bearhart, Jimmy Kimmel, who have both been in blackface.
To tell him even at the base thought that you could just tell him what to think is racist. That's the whole problem with this ideology to begin with. It's you're assuming that everyone, and especially black people, need to conform to this ideology without allowing them to make up their own minds and their own thoughts. And that goes back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And you know, Sam Wilson was like, you should do this, you should do that, and Sam Wilson standing there, motherfucker, I'm gonna do my own.
I'm gonna do what I think is right. You know, it goes. Here's another part of it. Sadly, this is increasingly leftist approach to all people on all issues. You authentically and legitimacy and recognize only if you behave in the way they say you should based on your race, ethnicity, and gender. There is only one accepted path, and those who disagree are stupid or racist or misogynistic, and that includes blacks, Latinos, Asians, and women. No honest disagreement is acceptable. Either you conform or you will be ridiculed and silenced.
Yep.
This is the woke left. This is the people.
This is why we oppose this, because it's racist.
Right. You're right. But now, this is to certain people. There are people out there who think they're virtue signaling by calling this man the N-word. How could...
Or the Uncle Tim thing. Right?
Yeah. Like, how could you be the virtuous one and fight for everyone and then just destroy this man like this? Like, I'm super excited for this. Caitlyn Jenner running for governor of California. I was talking to your cousin about this the other day because he was sending me how he sent me the video of how she was asked, what do you think of transgendered males in women's sports? And her answer was like, this is more of a fairness question. And she's like, no, I'm against it. And this is the perfect person to deal with this. But what a lot of people don't remember is this is an old school Republican. Mm-hmm. Just because she's now transitioned into a woman doesn't mean she didn't grow up in the Reagan era in that entire time. Doesn't mean that she wasn't an American hero gold medalist back in the day. You know what I mean? Like
Caitlyn Jenner is very Stars and Stripes USA.
This
Let's go, baby.
This is like we basically got like Hulk Hogan running for, you know what I'm saying? Proud to be an American here, and people are not ready for this. Yeah. They are because identity politics has wrapped up people so much that there is only one acceptable path, and it's my path. And if you don't, we're going to attack you. And I can't wait. I feel bad because it's going to happen. But all these pro-trans people are going to attack this woman.
Yes, they're going to turn. They're going to turn on her. Yeah, they're going to cast. She'll be cast out of the cult.
Yep. And you know what? It's going to work to her favor in California. I promise you, it's going to work to her favor. So. Yeah, I think it's 100%.
This is how we always say, how does this stuff end? It cannibalizes itself. Yeah. This is how it cannibalizes itself. Once the people, those, you know, like, I hate to say those people, but once like a Caitlyn Jenner takes a person of that identity, takes a position against that ideology of wokeness, it blows up.
Because she's the right person to lead the charge for the transgender community, and the woke community would love that as long as you do woke transgendered crap. You know what I mean? Right. Once you turn on that, they're going to hate you.
Right. Or it's not even woke transgender stuff.
Well, no, she is the perfect poster child to lead the transgendered virtue signaling call. Right. Now, once she goes against it, that's it. She's a goner.
Right.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about this is, who's going to vote for her? All the people they say are anti-trans, racist,
all
are
the
probably
Republicans.
Going to be the What a bizarre
It was,
time. What
you
a
know,
bizarre time we live in.
There's somebody that I would really like to try and have on. His name's Horace Cooper.
Yes.
And I listened to him on our buddy Nick Giordano's podcast, and he made such a great statement. America's so racist. Well, no, it's not. Because now, if you look at it, where do you move for opportunity?
America.
Texas. No.
Oh, okay.
When you're in
the
America,
South. I heard this.
yes, you move to the South. The Texas used to be all good old boys, racist, anti-black down there.
Right.
But now you leave New York and California, the welcoming, everybody's equal states. You leave those states to go find opportunity down south.
Yes.
We're not a racist country if the racist state is the state that's providing you opportunity.
Right.
And the best part of all this Tim Scott stuff and all this blowback, all of a sudden, Joe Biden changed his tune.
Oh, no, America's not.
America's not a
yeah.
racist place. We have racist problems, but how can America be racist if we don't have racist people?
Kamala Harris, same thing. She said the same exact thing.
What?
Which, I credit them because they're right. It's
Yes.
not.
Now they're right.
Right.
Now
But
they're right.
It just shows you that they're just fair weather fans. Wherever the sentiment goes, they
Yeah.
realize, wow, this was wrong.
Yeah,
What
but
happens? Now we got to make sure we get on. There was a war room meeting. We got to get out in front of this.
Yeah.
We got to get out in front of this. This is not going to look good.
We spent an entire summer screaming that America is racist and we have a racist
Right.
president, and now we don't have racism.
Right. It's they're phony.
More-
They don't believe anything they say. They
What-
just say whatever is convenient at the time.
My last point is more people who fit the woke bill need to run for power.
I will support them.
Tim
Yes.
Scott
I don't
needs.
care what you.
Yeah, exactly. Also, side note, you need to be qualified.
Right.
I see now. I don't live in California, so I really don't care. I don't know what Caitlyn Jenner's stances are, her policies are. We don't know yet if she's qualified. But let's just say she is qualified. Tim Scott's obviously qualified enough to be a senator. Provided they're qualified, people of color, trans, gay, whatever, women need to start running for power, but in the opposition. Because then that's how we unravel this wokeness. You get a woman to run against Nancy Pelosi. You get a woman of color to run against Nancy Pelosi. Get Tim Scott to run against Joe Biden. Get Caitlyn Jenner to run against Newsom. You get these people who fit the woke, virtuous bill and oppose them, and watch everyone turn. And it'll be like the Joker said to Two-Face in The Dark Knight Rises. All these people, they're just waiting to turn on each other.
Yeah.
They have no,
Right.
there's no alliance to anyone.
That is the problem with this. It's not about racism against any of these people. I'd be the first person to vote for him. I was the first person on line to vote for Barack Obama, right? Because of it. But I voted for him not because he was black, or I voted him because he wanted to do the right thing, or so he said at the time. So I don't care what you look like, what you are. Obviously, racism is bad, but the racists are trying to sell themselves as the not racists. So
If you call yourself anti-racist and you disagree with what Tim Scott said,
well, the funniest thing, right, is you're hearing that term a lot now, right? Like, it's not enough to just not be racist. You have to be anti-racist. And then if you ask somebody, well, okay, what does that mean? What does it mean to be anti-racist? They'll say, well, you have to discriminate based on gender or race.
yeah.
Which is racist.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, in order to be anti-racist, you have to be racist.
Think about that, people.
I think it's a good spot to end it.
Yeah,
We're
think
gonna
about
be
that,
on,
people.
990 in a little bit.
Yeah, we have to jump over to 990 soon. We're going to be on the wild side with our buddy Pal. And Doom Nation, thank you again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. Please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you guys, debate us on anything, give us topics. It's cool. You can find us everywhere Trump is banned. At 2DoomMen_podcast is our Instagram. Everywhere else is at 2DoomMen on Instagram. Check out our link tree. It'll take you everywhere, and our podcast can be found wherever major podcasts are listened to.
Yes, and if you didn't check out our Dune review of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, check it out. It was almost a full episode that we did on that because it was so political and right in our wheelhouse. So check that out. I put a lot of effort also into the
To the intro.
the intro thing, which is pretty cool. I love Marvel stuff. So
Yeah.
check it out. Thanks.
All right, adios, Doom Nation. Thank you, guys.